Everyone, I'm Keerthi Harikrishnan, a scientist, a mom, an amateur chef, and a techno domain expert at Thoughtworks. I'm a scientist trained in the field of cardiovascular biology and oncology, and for the past 20 years have been working with a group of researchers, clinicians, and more recently with the tech world. I was always fascinated about how human body worked and how changes at the cellular level contributes to the disease outcomes. So that's what shaped my professional journey. I'm particularly interested in the technology right now because with the explosion of data, you're able to take all of that massive amounts of data, use the tools that are available, and tailor outcomes specifically for that particular population, which means a more specific cure. And that's been driving me for the past 2 decades or so. And it's what keeps me motivated. My journey into the AI has been anything but unconventional. So I was a typical scientist working in a lab day in, day out, working with cancer cells, working with mice and with patient samples a lot. And typically a researcher day would go by, conduct experiments, take those data, and then publish into journals. And fast forward for 2 decades, uh, COVID hit, and I had to really shift my gears and think quick on my feet, work on my career that still fueled my curiosity. And that's where, with the explosion of data, I was able to leverage everything that's in the open source, take the tools and technologies, and really use the remote collaboration that was available. So that really got me accidentally into the world of technology plus domain. And I started my second stint in the corporate world. And I got a brilliant team of AI scientists to work with. When I was a PhD student, I had to manually count cells. With the availability of AI models, I was able to do those in a day or a two. And that was got me really, really going. And I was able to do much more not than just data analysis. So one specific challenge as a woman, which I still continue to face, is because I come from a very academic background. People label me as a scientist, but I also speak the language of technology. And I worked really hard to learn the language and being able to bridge the gap between the biology and the technology domain and to take those data and to drive those into discoveries. And the other challenge that I face is something that's faced by women across the fields. As you rise up in your career, in most of the meetings and everywhere, you're the only women in the call or in the workshop. And sometimes you have that imposter syndrome, and that's very hard to kind of overcome. No matter how much you have achieved, you still face that imposter syndrome. And the only way to kind of keep that at a bay and being able to work towards it is keep speaking up and showing up and being confident in the work that you do and everything that you do. So, looking ahead, what keeps me really excited is the fact that all of the big tech now is investing heavily into healthcare and biology, which was seen as a very scary kind of a field. People are more talking about healthcare and life sciences now. And the availability of the data, you are able to get a complete download of how your body systems work. And cardiovascular kind of diseases are still one of the top cause of mortality in the world right now. And don't need to really go to a cardiologist to diagnose an atrial fibrillation or a heart attack. With the availability of the data, you can send your data to your cardiologist or a remotely a startup which can analyze these readings really quickly and send you to the nearest hospital, thereby being able to save lives. So that's one aspect, right? The other one being able to diagnose a chronic diseases at much, much ahead of time. For example, if you take your retinal scan, you can diagnose whether you might have a incidence of a heart disease later on, or able to diagnose your cancer risk much, much early on is going to have interventions that's going to prolong your life. So diseases like cancer are not going to be a death sentence. The fact that treatment is not going to be done at a massive scale with the same medicine. It is going to be very precision driven. It is going to be individually driven, not necessarily towards catering to a particular group of people that are being able to afford. Use your own unique strength and don't see that as a weakness. Even if it is small, whatever is whatever you are passionate about, continue to do it and use technology as an aid, and continue to excel in what you're doing and speak up. And not everybody is an expert in this. We're all learning as we go. So take that step right away, and that's going to be pretty rewarding.